Hello, Kentucky. The departure of Kentucky's big dog Vince Marrow shocked everyone, probably even Pope, and certainly BBN. But could Eddie Gran's role have reportedly influenced this? Let's talk more about it. Vince Marrow's departure from the Kentucky Wildcats to take on the role of general manager at the Louisville Cardinals marks a significant and, at the same time, inevitable moment in the internal dynamics of the Wildcats football program. Since his arrival in 2013, Marrow has been a central figure in building Kentucky's identity under Mark Stoops, and is recognized for his ability to recruit talent and mold classes that have elevated the program to consistently competitive levels within the SEC. However, recent structural changes implemented by the Stoops administration, particularly with the reinstatement of Eddie Gran, have brought about a shift in power that may have sealed Marrow's fate within the program. Eddie Gran's return to Kentucky in 2021 represented more than just an operational change or a new administrative role. He assumed a position of strategic influence, acting as a sort of general manager tasked with navigating the complex challenges of the transfer market and recruiting decisions. The move reflected a clear attempt to modernize and streamline the roster-building process, something that is crucial for ambitious programs seeking to establish themselves in a conference as competitive as the SEC. However, this transition also dramatically altered the power dynamics within the Wildcats' front office. For much of the Stoops era, Marrow and Dan Brezowitz were the linchpins of the recruiting strategy, with their voices echoing heavily in key decisions. Gran's arrival, however, has shifted that balance, reducing Marrow's influence and challenging his authority over who would wear the blue and white uniform. The impact of this change has been even more evident in recent transfer cycles. Gran, who had already made his mark as Kentucky's offensive coordinator until 2020, has been responsible for leading the way in selecting players available in the transfer portal over the past 2 years. While some of those decisions have paid off, others have ended up disappointing expectations, both inside and outside the program. For someone like Marrow, whose reputation was closely tied to his continued recruiting success, seeing questionable picks prioritized over his own targets may have been a tough blow to swallow. Furthermore, the perception that his role was gradually being diminished in favor of another figure may have contributed to an environment of tension and dissatisfaction. It's no secret that the relationship between Marrow and Stoops has been a central pillar of Kentucky's success in recent years. Their synergy has allowed the program to thrive in a highly competitive environment, ensuring not only significant wins, but also institutional stability and growth. However, like any long-term partnership, it has also faced increasing pressures. The introduction of Gran as a key decision-maker has created a new layer of complexity, transforming what was once a fluid collaboration into a potentially fragmented environment. Internal conflicts, disagreements over strategic directions, and feelings of marginalization may have weighed on Marrow's decision to seek new horizons. Now, as he crosses the divide to Louisville, Marrow not only begins a new chapter in his career, but also assumes a position that is sure to intensify the rivalry between the Cardinals and the Wildcats. His recruiting expertise will be a valuable asset to Louisville, especially as the program seeks to reaffirm its position on the state and national stage. For Mark Stoops, Marrow's departure represents both a loss and an opportunity. On the one hand, he loses a trusted collaborator whose contributions have been instrumental in Kentucky's advancement. On the other hand, the departure opens the door to consolidate the new administrative structure led by Gran, allowing Stoops to continue to shape the future of the program according to his updated vision. If there is one thing that Kentucky's recent trajectory demonstrates, it is that change is inevitable and often necessary for the sustainable growth of a college football program. Marrow's departure, while painful for some fans, can be seen as a natural reflection of this process. But should it have been this way? The question remains. Has a former cat in the spotlight? Kentucky basketball has been a talent factory for the NBA in recent years, with players like Cason Wallace emerging as not just prospects, but as key players on high-profile teams. And now, watching Wallace's recent performances in the NBA playoffs, it's clear that the competitive DNA he developed in Lexington is blossoming in impressive fashion. Cason Wallace, a player who spent just one season with the Kentucky Wildcats, is already proving that his selection in the 2023 NBA draft was more than justified. Selected by the Dallas Mavericks with the 10th overall pick and then traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, Wallace has quickly found his place on a team that is redefining the landscape of the league. With Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, another former Kentucky player, leading the way, the Thunder have transformed into a relentless team, and Wallace has been a key part of that meteoric rise. While his college stats weren't exactly spectacular, at first glance, averaging 11.7 points, 3.7 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 2.0 steals per game, what really stood out was his versatility and tenacity. Wallace is the kind of player who may not make headlines with his sky-high numbers, but who, when he gets on the court, makes all the difference. His defensive energy, ability to create opportunities for teammates, and ability to adapt in critical moments are qualities that transcend stat sheets. The Thunder's current run in the NBA playoffs is a testament to Wallace's impact. While his three-point shooting accuracy has fluctuated, falling to 35.6% after an impressive 41% in his rookie year, his confidence remains unwavering. This is a direct reflection of the culture of excellence instilled at Kentucky, where players are taught to overcome adversity and continually improve on their weaknesses. In crucial moments, Wallace has proven to be a reliable outside threat, capable of capitalizing on open opportunities created by the opposing defense. Furthermore, his presence in the NBA Finals, despite early struggles, is a remarkable feat for such a young player. In a scenario where the pressure is on and every possession can decide the fate of a franchise, Wallace has demonstrated maturity beyond his years. He knows that the key to success is to continue to evolve, adjust his game, and take advantage of opportunities that arise. After all, as he learned at Kentucky, basketball is a team sport, and a player's true value lies in his ability to contribute to the team, regardless of the circumstances. Mark Pope, meanwhile, has been following Wallace's journey with pride, even though he has not coached him. The coach has built a solid reputation for developing athletes who not only shine in college, but also have longevity and impact in the NBA. Pope's philosophy goes beyond immediate victories. He understands that Kentucky's role is to prepare its players for the challenges ahead, and Wallace is a perfect example of that vision, as a Wildcat. As the NBA playoffs roll on, all eyes will be on Wallace and the Thunder. Despite a slow start to the finals, with 0 three-pointers on 5 attempts in the first 2 games, there is growing expectation that he will find his groove and make a difference. After all, the kid who earned his place at Kentucky through hard work and determination is not the kind of player who is easily shaken. And as Wallace continues to write his own chapter in the NBA, he carries with him the essence of a program that has always prioritized growth, discipline, and passion for the game. And the new challenges of basketball? College basketball is about to undergo a significant transformation in its game dynamics, with the recent announcement by the NCAA Playing Rules Oversight Panel of a series of changes that promise to profoundly impact the fluidity and competitiveness of games. These changes, which will take effect in the 2025-26 season, reflect an ongoing effort to modernize the sport and align it with global trends, without compromising the emotional and strategic essence that makes it so captivating. Among the most talked about innovations is the introduction of the Coach's Challenge, a tool that allows coaches to challenge officiating decisions at specific moments in the game. This change brings to college basketball something that is already familiar in professional basketball: the opportunity to review controversial plays, such as out-of-bounds calls, basket interference, or goaltending, as well as to check whether a secondary defender was positioned in the restricted area arc. However, there are important nuances to this rule. In order to call a challenge, teams must have a timeout available, which adds a layer of strategy to deciding when to call it. If the challenge is successful, the team earns an additional challenge, but if it fails, the team loses the ability to contest for the remainder of the game. This system strikes an interesting balance between correcting refereeing errors and avoiding excessive stoppages while preserving the pace of the game. Another key change is the revised guidelines for continuous movement on field goal attempts. The new rule allows an offensive player who is contacted while dribbling toward the basket to rotate or complete the step he was in to complete the play. Currently, referees only call a shot as a field goal if the foul occurs right at the time of the shot. This update gives offensive linemen more freedom to explore their creativity and technical ability, while also holding defenders accountable for maintaining disciplined posture. It's a change that could benefit teams with versatile and athletic players, like the Kentucky Wildcats, who are known for developing players who can create opportunities in high-contact situations. Additionally, the NCAA men's basketball rules committee is considering an ambitious transition from halves to quarters, a format widely used in international competitions such as FIBA. While this change is still in the discussion phase, it has the potential to revolutionize the structure of college games. The main concern, however, is the logistics of timeouts and commercial breaks, which would need to be adapted to the new format. The committee has asked for feedback from Division I conferences through next year, indicating that the implementation will be carefully planned to minimize negative impacts. The changes also include adjustments to technical and disciplinary matters. For example, referees now have the option of calling a flagrant 1 foul for groin touches, a decision that seeks to protect players from dangerous behavior without immediately resorting to ejection. In addition, it has been established that any improper use of the rim to gain an advantage will be considered a basket interference violation, reinforcing the importance of fair play. Another practical change involves the shot clocks. If one of them goes down, the other will remain on, avoiding unnecessary delays. These changes reflect a growing concern for the flow of the game, something that Kentucky basketball head coach Mark Pope is sure to embrace. Pope, known for his tactical approach and adaptability, will be able to use the coaching challenge as a strategic tool to maximize his team's performance in critical moments. Additionally, the emphasis on continuous movement and offensive freedom could support the dynamic athletic style he encourages in his players. As fans eagerly await the implementation of these changes, it's clear that the future of college basketball will be shaped by decisions that prioritize entertainment, fairness, and respect for the game. So what will it look like? Your opinion matters.